Welcome back to my Tech Buddy. This is second part of Spring Framework series. In the last video, we learned about the tight coupling code and then we changed the code to loose coupling. Now in this video, we will learn about Spring concepts. So let's start. Right here, this is our current code. We are creating two pizza class, pepperoni and Hawaiian. And then we are creating pizza maker class. And then we are passing pizza into pizza maker class. This is called wiring of class. It means pizza maker need pizza type to build a new pizza. Pizza is a dependency of pizza maker class and we are injecting this dependency into pizza maker. Or we can say that it is wired into pizza maker class. All the object creation and dependency are right now managed by us. And we want everything to be managed by Spring. Let's see how can we do that. For this we will create a new Spring app. So let's create that now. Let's go to package com.mytechbuddy.learning-spring. Press the right button, choose new and create a new class. We'll name this app01 learning spring. Finish. And in this class we will create a new main method, public static void main. Now we will create the Spring container and beans and we will access those beans from Spring container. Creating the Spring container is straightforward, but we need to pass a configuration file. And what is that configuration file? Because to create a beans, we need to specify those beans in a configuration file. And we have to pass this configuration file into our Spring container. So we'll create a configuration file and it will have all the beans. It will have all the beans to be managed that are managed by Spring. Okay, let's create that Spring configuration file now. So we'll select the same package and we'll choose new class and we will name this hello Spring configuration and we will give a annotation called @configuration. So let's import this configuration. Oops, there is spelling mistake. Yes. Now we will import this annotation and now our configuration class is ready. So let's create the container now and pass this configuration file into that container. Let's save everything and we will give all the beans here in the configuration file. So let's create the container now. So var context. So context or container are interchangeable terms, but that means the same. Okay, so we can say Spring context or Spring container. So we will create a new container, new annotations config Spring application context, and we will pass the configuration file into the constructor. So we'll pass hello Spring configuration dot class. So now our container is ready. Now let's create those beans that will be managed by Spring container. So we will go to hello Spring configuration class and we will create simple beans. So let's create one public string username and it will return a simple string John. Now to make it a bean, we have to give a new annotation called @bean. So @bean and let's import that annotation. So now our bean is ready. So now we will access this bean, but to access that bean we have to there are two ways. So first we'll try to access through its name. So context.getBean is a method to access the bean and we'll take the bean name. Bean name will be username. Whatever method name we have provided, it will be the bean name and it is of type string. So let's print that string now. System.out.println. So username is our bean name. Whatever method name we have given is the name of bean. And what it will return, it will return, because it's a type of string, it needs to return, it will return the string John. So bean name is username and type is string. So let's save everything and print this now. Run as Java application. So you can see John is printed now. Let's make another bean. These are the simple beans we are creating right now. At the rate bean. This time we will return a integer, public int user age. For now we will return a simple integer 32. Let's print that as well. So we'll copy the same, and instead of username we will give user age, because bean name is user age now. So let's save everything and run this method. Run as Java application. So now printed John and 32. Till now everything is okay and we are creating simple bean. It's time to create some complicated bean now. For that we will use one of the Java feature, record. So this will create a bean for us. So this is a new feature that is given by Java. We need to only provide attribute here and everything will be managed by Java. So we'll name this user, string username, user age, and let's close the record. We have to provide the braces here. Now let's create the bean, which will be of type user. So at the rate bean public, so return type will be user, U capital. Okay, we forget to mention that because it's a class, so it will start with uppercase. So user, bean name will be user, and for now we will return a new user. And let's give the name as Tom, and age will be 30. So let's save and let's get this bean using Spring container. Instead of get user age, we'll simply name user. And when we print this, it will print the toString method of any class. So right now it is managed by Java. So toString method is also is managed by Java, and everything is ready for us automatically. Currently we are giving a new user, but how can we use the existing bean for our user? So let's say that we want to use username bean and user age bean for our user. How can we accept the existing bean? So let's create a new bean, user 2, and what we'll do, we'll return the existing bean. So we will return new user and name will be username. So we can access the same way, we can give the bean name here, username and user age. It will return the existing bean. So let's save and let's try to access this bean from our app01 learning spring. And instead of user 2, now let's print it. So let's save and run this. So now you can see the existing bean in username and user is, now it has been given to user 2 and those are printed. It's time to create some more bean of record. Let's create a new record address. So let's define one record address, and it will have two attribute, city and country. So string city and string country. So let's close this as well, and let's create the bean for address now. So we'll have the same bean. So at the rate bean public address, It is of type address, and address will be the bean name. Return new address. So city name will be London and country name is UK. Let's now access this bean from our Spring container. So we'll go to app01 learning Spring. Let's copy the same, and instead of user2 we'll do the address here. So let's save everything and run this method. So now you can see that London and UK is printed. So this bean is also created and accessed. Let's say that if we want to access this record from our user, so let's give a address type of address here. Now here let's create a new address here, new address. So instead of simple bean, we can also give one bean to another bean, and here let's use the existing bean. So we'll use address that is already created. So let's save everything and run the app now. So now in user, in the first bean you can see Paris and France, which is our hard coded value, and in second we have given the already existing bean London and UK that is now printed. So let's try to call address by class. So till now we were calling or addressing the beans through bean name, but let's call the beans through its type. So we will do context.getBean, or here instead of name we will give address.class. So let's print this out, because it will try to type the match of return. So you can see there was one bean address and it's London and UK printed out for that address. So it will try to see the matching bean of type address.class. Till now we were accessing bean through calling method name. Directly we are calling the bean into our other bean. So let's now access those bean through parameters. So let's create a new bean and we will name this public user, and we'll name this user with parameter. So instead of calling bean through method, we will give this bean name into our method arguments. So it will be string username, int user age, and address will be address. So we'll return a new user. It will be, so whatever argument we have given in the method, so we will use the same here, and it will access the existing bean only. So why is giving error? Oh, okay, we didn't give the return, so let's return this. Now the same bean we can access through parameters also. So let's save and let's try to call this. Let's go to app01 learning Spring and we'll call this method. The bean name is user with parameters, and we will call the same bean. So again we will call by name. So user with parameters. It should print the same result. Okay, John 32, address London and UK. So everything is good till now. What if we want to give another name to address? So instead of address, I want to call it address too. So we can give this name parameter here in the @me annotation, and instead of address I will give address too here. So let's run this now. Oh, there is an exception because we are calling the bean through bean name, but there are no address because now it's changed to address 2, so it's giving the error. So let's go to the error now. It's saying no bean named address is available. So let's change this to address 2 now because the name has been changed. So let's save and run this. So now everything is working. But remember this method of calling the bean through class is working because address is address type is still address. It has not been changed. So it's working correctly. Now let's create another bean and we'll give it a name address 3 and method name also will be address 3. We'll give New York and USA. So let's save and let's run the program. Now because it is looking for the type address and there are two addresses available, address 3 and address 2, so it should give a exception. Let's see what the exception is. It's saying error creating bean expected single matching bean but found two, address 2 and address 3. So let's comment this line for right now because it will need a single matching bean only in the hello configuration. Let's run this now again. Okay, we get another exception, but why is that? If you remember, user with parameters, we were calling the beans through parameter, we were giving the name here and it is looking for the type only. So name were address 2 and address 3 but type was only single address. Because now there are two matching bean, it is not able to see to match which bean it should take. For this we can use another annotation called @primary. So when there is a confusion between the matching beans, we can introduce @primary and it will select that bean only. So you can see now in user with parameter method, John 32 and address is now coming New York, USA. So you can see @primary. With @primary, we are selecting a single address when there is a confusion between multiple beans. There is another way and it is called @qualifier and let's give it a name, qualified address. Qualified and the same we need to give here. Let's import the qualifier now. @qualifier we'll have to give the same name of the qualifier, qualified address. Now let's save everything and right now it's New York and USA and it should get changed to London and UK. So let's save everything and run the program now. So now it's London and UK. So you can see through qualifier also we can change the bean. Now we have learned how to create a Spring container and how to access bean. So let's use that in our pizza app that we created in part 1. Let's go to our pizza app and we will create a bean for pizza maker and then we will create our bean for pepperoni pizza. So let's make a new configuration file. We'll select the same package and we will create a new class, pizza configuration, pizza app configuration. So finish and let's give the annotation @configuration. @configuration, import it, and let's create the bean for our pizza maker. So let's create @bean. Let's create first for our base pizza because it's a dependency for pizza maker. So it will return a new pepperoni pizza. And let's import everything here. And import the bean annotation as well. Let's create another bean pizza maker, and we will pass the bean name will be pizza maker, and we will pass the pizza bean into our pizza maker class. So new pizza maker, and we'll pass the pizza here. Okay, let's import the pizza maker. Let's save everything. So we have accessed the bean pizza through method name. So let's create a new base file as well. So we'll create a new base file. So let's name that pizza basic pizza app via Spring. So let's create the container here through var context annotation config application context, and we will give the configuration file name pizza app configuration dot class. Import the annotation now, and now let's access the bean through this container. So context dot get bean. First we will try with class type. So context dot get bean pizza maker dot class and build pizza. So let's save everything and run this program. So run as Java application, and we are getting the error. So let's see why the error is coming. Pizza maker bean is not available. And let's go to configuration. So okay, we have not provided @bean annotation here. So let's do that now. And now let's again run this program, and everything is working. We access everything through pizza maker dot class, but if we change it to bean name, let's change it now. So build pizza method is not available. Why is that? Let's go to get bean method definition. When we call it through name, it returns the object, but when we return by class, it returns the class object. So for normal object, it doesn't have the build pizza method, so we have to cast this into pizza maker. Let's cast this, and let's cast the whole thing. Now build pizza is available, so we'll run this again, and it should give the same result. So now it's working. One more thing to remember, because annotation config application context is a Spring container, we need to close this container after the use. So we will put everything in the try, because it's a closable. After the main method completes, it should close automatically. So everything's working. So we have gone through basic Spring concept. We will explore further in the next video. Thank you. That's it for this video. If you like the content, please press the like button, and please don't forget to subscribe the channel, and we will meet in the next video. Thank you. Bye bye.